Hey brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And this is another breakdown of an older video. Remember, I've been finding a lot of my stuff all over the place, right? You're just not allowed to see it on my channel. But you can hear and see my stuff on Caucasian people's channels in its entirety and doubled over with my voice and everything. But I'm not going to say anything about it because at least they're storing up the things that I've been talking about for a while. Now, with that said, I kept telling you that the modern black independent Fefails, yes, the modern BL Fefails, the independent BL Fefails, and their Christian slave master, how they are anti-Afro men. Alright, this is what I mean by it. Did you notice that a black single mom will never give the son the moniker of manhood? You know, she'll say, I don't care how old you get, you will always be my, what? Baby. You notice how the BL Fefail have been taught and groomed to never respect an Afro male as a man, no matter how much man stuff he does. Alright? Understand that. Alright? Did you ever wonder why these same black women will bow over and kowtow to any other race of men, but will give the Afro man hell? That's because they've conditioned themselves. No, the Caucasian man didn't do it. The Caucasian men said, you know what, we'll give you money. We'll give you prestige. We will hire you over your man. Just destroy them. And these BL Fefails decided to do it. Now, understand how hard they try. Cognitive dissonance. How hard they try to go away from their natural, beautiful selves to become Negropeans. The weave, the makeup, the dark one is so made up in some cases, it is ridiculous. She got a YouTube channel, but I didn't bother to go to it. I just needed to show you an example of how far gone these Fefails really are, because they were trained to never respect you, brother, as men. They trained themselves to do it. Why? Because they think that the Caucasian man can't check them. Not only can he not check them, but he holds the power to greed. And since their lust for wickedness is insatiable, they can't help but to continue in that path to seek out the one that they think is going to fulfill their thing. Oh, it's never been about an emotional attachment to the community, not even their own children. Because think about this. To the tune of 80+%, they will destroy their sons. Understand this. All right? Now, let me do this. Let me remind you, all right, this is up on BitChute, and it'll be up on YouTube, but I don't know how long. And I'll probably take it down. So understand this, brothers. In the description box of the other videos, there's a link to my BitChute channel. Subscribe to the BitChute channel so that you can get these videos. This video will be up for maybe about 5 minutes after I first initially put it up. But then after that, it's going down and it's going on BitChute. All right. So it'll be up for about 10 minutes. Then it's coming down and going on BitChute. Why? Because YouTube is horrendous when it comes to robbing Afro men of their speech, free speech. All right. And they pick with us because they know they got the BL Fefails in their back pocket. All right. Now, need donations. So if you can, my Cash App and my PayPal me will be in the description box. All right. Brothers need a little more help than what I'm getting. All right. But if you don't have it, y'all know you don't have to give it. I know times are hard. All right. So let's roll on. Brothers, this is primarily the concentration on my reviews and videos are strictly going to be geared towards the brothers. All right. And I mean brothers. And I'll point that out in a minute. This means that if your mama black but your daddy's white, you're not my brother. You belong to the white community. And that's all good, you know, but I'm talking biblically. If your mama white, your daddy black, then you belong to the black community. There's no such thing as mixed. If your daddy's white, then you're white. If your daddy's black, then you're black. Bottom line. Or whatever nationality that dad is, that's what the child is. All right. And that's the community that the woman belongs to, mentally and in their heart, because they chose that. All right. With that said, let's get started. And this is basically the concentration. This is going to concentrate on the religion that our black mamas sucked us into, that have been so putrid to the health of our community, the health of our mentality, and the health of our spirituality. And it, this religion is Christianity is able to do this because we operate in a vacuum of ignorance when it comes to this. All right. And so the other, um, I guess, sub part of this is to show the love that most of the modern day black women have for this white man and his white man system that have allowed them to get ahead so much that they have utterly destroyed the black community. Not the white man, the black woman under the tutelage of the white man have destroyed the black community. All right. And so I'm going to point out some of the ways that she's done it. And remember, these are the same black women that if you look at the things, they'll talk about a man's penis size, talk about how you can't please a man when they disagree with that. This is just a disagreement with a black man. Um, the black man is always going to have a fight. Um, the woman is ratchet towards the black man, and we're talking about good black men. Um, Even though the black man has intelligence, she wants him to dumb himself down so that she could be elevated above him. All right, dudes, we don't have to put up with it. Remember, there are more of them than us good black men. And if they don't learn older men, we need to leave the older women alone and start going for the younger women. Because the older women you would think would know better and would want something good, but they don't. Most of them can't recognize a good man. And if you do anything good for them or try to be nice to them, they think something is wrong with you. That means something is wrong with them. All right. So, in the beginning, for you brothers that are not aware of this, and some of the sisters that have their head on their shoulders, the Christian religion was beat into us and used to enslave us. All right. Um, This guy, Sir John Hawkins, he was the person that started the slave trade. All right. And here you have Queen Elizabeth involved and the the English, period. The English, the Portuguese, and the Spanish. All right. And so this is where your slave trade comes from. Now, with more on this, I would like for y'all to listen to part of a lecture by Dr. Joy DeGruy. That's Degruy Leary, right? And after this, go look her up on Google and listen to a lot of the stuff she pointed out. I've only taken snippets to show how evil our black women have become and how misled us black men are when it comes to this. Now, the reason why I don't go as far as to call um, black men evil is that the evil black men know they're evil. And black men do not support, black men do not identify with, black men generally don't have anything to do with it. And when you look at the awakening of our history and of what our real faith is supposed to be, the elevation of the commandments over religion, um, where you look at a group of people trying to tell the other group of people to do better, it's the black men in droves telling other black men and educating other black men. You don't find that with women. As a matter of fact, when black men are educating other black men and women, the women will fight that, bring evil to that educational forum, and spew all kind of nasty obscenities in that. Not only that, even black women that say that they are good, which I disagree with for this reason, they will then turn on the good black men in solidarity with the behavior of the evil black women just because they're black. In other words, the proverbial you can't say nothing about a black woman because she's a black woman and you supposed to just love her whatever she do. No, the Bible say we supposed to hate her. The Bible says that our hearts will turn to hatred towards her. All right. And I'll prove that at the end. And you will see this in a lot of my videos, these scriptures. All right. And I picked out the best ones that explain what's going on in our community. All right. So, I mean, listen to this lady. Now, let me give she is worthy of a, just an outstanding introduction. So check out my intro to um, Dr. Joy DeGruy Leary. And here's some of the things she has to say. You'll hear her twice.
In our, of course, I'm going to kind of pop back and forth through British history and American history. James Madison was a very important figure in American history, President of the United States, 1751 to 1836. He said, blacks are inhabitants, but as debased by servitude below the equal level of free inhabitants, which regards the slave as divested of 2/5 of the man. This is called the 3/5 compromise. And what they were trying to figure out is, what are we going to do? How are we going to count these black folks? Because, you know, based on how many people you have residing in a particular state, the more representatives you can send to the House of Representatives, and thus the more power that particular state can wield. So the question was, how do you count the slaves? Well, Southerners, who of course enjoyed slavery, they wanted to count them. They said, yeah, count them. That gives us more power. Where the Northerners saw it as an opportunity to abolish slavery, said, well, you can't count them because you don't consider them human. How can you count people who have absolutely no freedom that you do not count or treat as human beings? So the agreed upon solution is to count 3/5 of a state's total slave population. And so as a result, they became 3/5 of a man, divested of that. But it's almost as though you're not talking about a human being anymore. And that's what's scary about this. And I always start my talks by saying that when you see folks dressed up like this, and I know you all see a lot of them, you should get worried. I always get concerned when I see them dressed up like that, like this guy here. This next guy was someone that I struggled with. You all know him, Richard Oswald. He's the son of a Presbyterian minister, international trader of enslaved Africans. What's so deep about this gentleman is how wealthy he became as a result. He would be worth, based on the 1700s, right now he would be worth 68 million. Based on the number of slaves, the slave trade and colonies, ships, all the stuff that he basically utilized. But again, these folks are held in high regard. When I read about him in your history, you would never know. Google him. You'd never know the ugly trade that he was engaged in because we've sanitized it, you see. It all got kind of sanitized. But what's important is to understand the wealth amassed. And see, this is where people get afraid, particularly Europeans. This is where the whole, oh my God, dare I say the big ugly word, most folks are afraid of, because we don't really care too much about the healing. That healing stuff, go on and get better, you people. But don't try to touch the resources. That would be reparations. We don't want to have that conversation. We're okay if you all go heal, however you're going to do that. But let's not talk about the reparation story. But when you start looking at the wealth amassed, and then you got to look at the Church of England. It gets real ugly, because then you start realizing what is a foundation for the Church of England. Folks that blessed the slave ships. And then, of course, and this is interesting about John Newton, because we all know about, the first thing you hear, John Newton, what's the next thing you hear? Amazing Grace. John Newton, Amazing Grace. Well, let's figure out what happened before he got Amazing Grace. He said slaves are lesser creatures without Christian souls and thus are not destined for the next world. Now, what becomes important about this kind, and you'll see it both in American history as well, there is this kind of dehumanization of African people. Because you got to ask yourself this question: how do people who deem themselves superior, who see themselves as the civilizers, who recognize themselves as what we call manifest destiny, the white man's burden of civilizing all the rest of the races, how do you reconcile being the superior being and engaging in barbaric behavior? What that produces is something called cognitive dissonance. How many people are familiar with that? Cognitive dissonance is really thinking discord. It's when you begin to feel conflict between what you believe or understand or hold to be true, and you are then faced with behaviors, either in yourself or others, that conflict with your fundamental belief. It produces cognitive dissonance. Human beings don't function well with cognitive dissonance. You must remove the cognitive dissonance in order to function. So in order for people to perpetuate slavery and to perpetuate that whole system that lasts for centuries, you had to remove all dissonance associated with it. Can't be anything wrong with me. Certainly isn't us. We're the civilizers. We're the superior, so it must be them. Oh, yes. Well, you see, they don't even have souls. Now I can go to sleep because I'm not really dealing with a human being. Are you following me? Okay, let's see what else he said. He said, when the women and girls are taken on board a ship naked, trembling, terrified, they are often exposed to the wanton rudeness of white savages. The prey is divided upon the spot. Look at the choice of words, the prey. Resistance or refusal would be utterly in vain. And then he says, I sinned with a high hand. Yeah, and then he wrote Amazing Grace. Okay. So it's really important to understand that hand in hand with the behavior was a mindset that is so damaging. You see, I call it the secret. Not the secret that everybody's been talking about, that secret. This secret is the kind that makes you sick. How many people here are in mental health, have done direct mental health treatment with folks? If you're not, you know that the secrets make us sick, yes? Isn't it the secrets that cause people the pathology? Right? How long have white people had to hold this secret? How long and how many generations had to stop and pretend Grandpa didn't do what he did. That the wealth we enjoy was not on the backs of some of these little girls. Think about how long one had to keep that secret. And the only thing you could do is either pathologize the other. It's all their fault because it certainly wasn't great granddad. Look how well he dresses. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I say that this pathology goes hand in hand, I kid you not.
Okay, so understand cognitive dissonance. Now, as I put this up here, uh, this is background information on the Christian faith as it breaks down into denominations. And as you look through that, I want y'all to know something that is quite blaring, right? So basically, cognitive dissonance. Part of my thing is to point out how now the black woman is acting and treating the black man the same way the white man treated all of his slaves. All right. If you notice in the post, a lot of black women and some jacked up minded men come to it. Oh, you don't need to put this all out, put all this information out there about the behavior of the black women that they're doing, getting put on the news. They saying this should stay within the community. No. Um, like she says, most of the pathology is because the evil that is being done is kept secret, right? And the same cognitive dissonance that the white people showed the slave, the black woman shows the black man in what we now term as deflection when you see some of their arguments. Yes, I screwed a bunch of thugs and had a bunch of children, but that's because most of you men are garbage anyway, even though the thug only constitute a slim minority of the black male population. You see what I'm saying? Women with degrees and jobs are screwing criminals that are in jail, and a dude in prison up to 25 to 30 years for life for murder and drug dealing is able to get 4 women pregnant with 7 children. Okay, but these women will identify with them, uh, those women, get in solidarity with them, tell us that we should not be putting that information out in the public sphere is because it shames them. But it don't shame them because the shame should be on all black men. Now, when you see how they refer to us, they use all. When I use black women, I say black women. It's because I'm smart enough that to know that even though I believe it's the vast majority, is not going to be all of them, so I don't use the word all. But the black woman will say all you black men are garbage anyway, and they will use the word all, but then turn around, don't want you to use it on them. Somehow they're different. The very same woman that's using the cognitive dissonance of the white man is the one that says she is one of the good ones. All right. So I wanted you to understand the similarities between the white man and the black woman of today. Now, understand that the black people in this time did not practice Christianity. They went to the church and church was beat into them, but they used the church to develop the Underground Railroad, to send messages to one another since they were forced to go. All right. But the same way the white man forced the slaves to go to church, the black women and grandmothers forced the children to go to church, sort of around the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. We were forced to go to church. During Jim Crow, it was the way to go and get stuff handed out. But this religion of the white man was forced on the black children, and it was ingrained in us by our black mothers. Why? To keep us subjugated to the white man for a bunch of reasons. All right. But it was to make us less of fighters, especially us males. That's why black women are okay with men being gay, but they're not okay with polygamy. You understand? All right. And this is why I now call the black woman evil. All right. So let's hear more from our good doctor. Um, oh, dang. I'm on the wrong thing. Well, maybe let's not hear more from our good doctor. Oh, yeah. I did want to make this short. So let's just say this. In my final thoughts, all right, you notice that all the stuff that happened to us that was evil was done by a Christian. Know the tree by the fruit it bears. If the tree um, brings forth bad fruit, then that tree is a bad tree. All right. And it should be cut down and taken out of that system. And this is Christianity. So the first slave ship, Christians, that brutalized, raped the men and the women. All right. Um, the Amazing Grace came from a Christian, written to be sang as they lynch black men. All right. And the black women put that song in the hearts of black people that we now sing it and have our president singing it at a funeral, probably knowing how disastrous that song has been to us. All right. So we need to stop singing stuff and doing stuff that has been given to us by white people, because it wasn't given to us to do us any good. All right. So you had this is your people that did stuff to us in the name of their God and religion, which is pagan. It was the Baptists. For all you Baptist women out there, yes, you are part of this. You are part of this evil. When you went down and gave your life and soul to the Baptist church, all right, then that made you a part of this evil, which now makes you evil. All right. It says scripturally, you're supposed to come off among the evildoers, but you went headlong into them because they blessed you with allowing you to tear apart the black community. Okay. The Presbyterians. And if you saw on the other slides, pause them for a minute and look at the origins. All our major denomination is the result of these people that saw nothing, that had nothing to do with us but wanted us destroyed. Now, we ended up being 3/5 of a human being as far as Congress was concerned. But as far as the slave masters, Madison was concerned, we were only 2/5 of a human being. Remember, 3/5 is a compromise. That's halfway. They thought we were 2/5, but they say, okay, we'll give you halfway between 1/5 and 5/5. We'll give you 3/5. So understand this pathology. All right. Now, why do I harp on black women? Because anybody that puts their family and indoctrinates their family with this kind of ignorance and with this kind of evil and call this type of evil good is evil. Evil is what evil does. All right. There is no other way to put it. All right. At the end of the day, ignorance is not bliss, it's dangerous. With that said, I'm out. When I said we don't have to put up with garbage, we really don't have to put up with it. All right. We need to let them hit the wall by themselves. Oh, if you're going to smash and smash and roll, who cares? We cannot maintain a long-lasting relationship with these Fefails in the state that they are in. And the state that they are in is that they will try to destroy us using the laws. And so they're not worth us until the laws change to favor us. That would be the good righteous man. So let the thugs have them. Let all the races of men have them. We have options that they don't have. All right. So with that said, I'm out. It's a no depolicing zone for all you super simps. All right. I'm gonna call you wonder simps. With that said, I'm out.